Nicholas steadied his breathing as the jump alarm subsided, its shrill tone still ringing in his ears. He stood at the command deck on the bridge, alongside Cilly and Docile. Behind him was the four-tiered semicircle of stations where the on-duty bridge crew worked at their consoles. Everyone was occupied with their tasks and obscured by the dim red glow of combat lighting. Nicholas felt the weight of their exhaustion and the strain etched into their lined faces after 10 grueling hours on duty. Cilly and Docile looked almost as beat up as the bridge crew after 6 consecutive jumps. As acting captain, Cilly had shaved her head during one of her short breaks. Her hair had repeatedly fallen into her face, and she couldn't stand it anymore. Lieutenant Commander Docile looked slimmer than usual, his cheeks slightly sunken, and his eyes had the watery appearance of someone who had been out drinking several nights in a row. All in all, they looked exactly how Nicholas felt. For one thing, he was dead tired because human bodies paid a high price for so many jumps in a row. The process somehow made him feel like he was being eviscerated, even though the transit lasted less than a fraction of a second. What made it worse were the many tasks they all had to perform in between, scanning behind for possible enemy pursuers, probing the space ahead, recharging the energy pattern cells for the next jump, and making repairs. Fortunately, after the first jump to Phyta 7, an empty neighboring system to Lagunia that lay on a direct path to Earth, it had become apparent that the enemy was not interested in following them. In any case, despite their fears, they remained alone, except for one other ship. Each time they arrived, the Caesar was already halfway to the next jump point and out of their weapons range. Even their much faster torpedoes would not reach her in time. So they were stuck pursuing a much more modern and, above all, faster ship that widened the gap after each jump. "Scans?" Acting Captain Sylvia Thurnow called. Her pale face was illuminated by the white light of the table that separated her from the other officers. The table showed a 2-dimensional schematic representation of their current location, System Epsilon Rhodia. The Oberon appeared as a green dot at the inner jump point, exactly where it was plotted in the system. Their eyes were focused on the outer jump point, where the Caesar should be. "Completed," Lieutenant Alcad reported from navigation. "Then where's that damned red dot?" Cilly demanded. "Our sensors are not picking up any propulsion signatures, and the bow telescopes can't find any reflections that would indicate a spacecraft. Keep looking." "She's already gone," Nicholas said, his voice neutral. "What?" Cilly raised her eyes, and dark shadows appeared under them. It made her look like a creepy night elf. "The Caesar," he stated what she refused to accept. He saw no advantage in keeping the truth from himself. "So, she's already jumped." "Looks like it," Docile agreed. Cilly sucked in a sharp breath. Nicholas sighed. "We know where he's going. So, we know what course to set." "What makes you so sure?" "The highest court-martial is in Vienna on Terra, and it is the only place where an admiral of a core world may be tried under valid law." "Ex-admiral," she corrected him. "And Lagunia is not a core world. But Harbingen was.